Oh, I gotta text my mom the link because she watches.
You're going to be going live on the 3-episode podcast, Travel Greece versus Japan. Sweet.
Okay. Welcome to the 3-episode podcast. We are back with our travel episode 2. We have been doing kind of a competition between 2 different places. Last week was Niagara Falls in Canada versus Orlando, which we all know John won. Yeah, look at him gloating up there. So we all know that John won. And yeah, so this week it is going to be Greece versus Japan. I am going to be representing Greece, and Ryan is going to be representing Japan. As usual, I am your host, Justin. Again, Ryan is representing Japan, so say hi, Ryan.
Hello.
We have Steve. I'm just going in clockwise order.
Hey, I should have done Pandora, but it's fine.
It's not a real place, dingus. And if you wanted to do that, you would have had to do Disney. It's the only place that exists. And
because Kevin Hart's been there, or he's going there. That's
and
fine.
Because he's already opened his mouth, we have John.
Yeah, I brought sake and Japanese whiskey and Japanese rum and sushi and
we don't know who he wants to win.
It's weird that he's Team Greece, though.
Yeah, right.
I didn't have any Greek wines at my local liquor store, so my bad.
And we have, hopefully on my side, since she dated a Greek guy for a while, is Val.
Yes, Tikanis.
I love that. That's the like, this is our expert witness. She dated a Greek guy for a while.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I mean, and then sorry. Finish that.
Joining us is our special guest, Bill, back on the program. He's going to be our judge this week, deciding between Greece and Japan.
Hey guys,
go ahead, John. What were you saying? Sorry, Bill the Feet. Yeah, sorry.
Guys, our timing is so perfect right now. We're doing so well.
Yeah, totally.
We've done worse.
Glad to be part of the program.
Let me just go back over the rules. We have 6 sections. We actually have a new section this week that we added, which is a culture section. And what's going to happen is that each of us are going to have 5 minutes on each of the sections. After each of us have had our 5 minutes, Bill is going to reflect on what we've said and give us each a score 1 out of 10. That's purely on whether we've given him information that we've kind of convinced him more one way or the other to go to our place. So if I did a good job, it just 1 out of 10, just whatever score you think we did. And you give each of us a 1 out of 10. I throw it in the scoreboard, and then whoever has the highest at the end wins.
I will be I'll be as objective as possible.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got some notes. We'll see how it goes.
All right.
So Ryan, who do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first? Do you want to go first on weather? Because I'd love to hear what you have to say on Japan's weather. If you want to,
I could go first on weather.
Okay.
All right.
Well, then we are ready to go. John, you are our timekeeper. You tell us when to go and when to stop and how much time we have left. And I will leave it in your hands, John.
Your mark, get set.
You know this is just gonna be dead space, right?
Come on.
Justin, when you go back to edit this, leave that in for that exact reason. And Ryan, go.
All right, cool. So first of all, I'm going to say a lot of Japanese words incorrectly. That is because I barely speak English correctly. So
maybe just don't say them.
But you might know exactly what I'm talking about. I'm just pronouncing it wrong. So Japan's weather is pretty much, there's 3 climate regions in Japan. Pretty much if you think about how the island is formed, the northern section and going down to the eastern section of Japan is pretty much New England weather in a lot of ways, especially in the upper islands. It's very cold, tend to have very harsh winters, but as you go down and past the mountains that split Japan, you start going into warmer and warmer weather as you head more to the west and more to the south. And then as you go into their actual island territories, there is a lot of pretty much really nice island area, which has super, like, not exactly Hawaii-esque, but pretty nice summers, barely any winter at all kind of temperature. Currently today, it was in Tokyo, 45 was the low and 63 was the high. And Tokyo, once again, is kind of like towards the northeast of the islands of the biggest island of Japan. Yeah. Okay, down in Okinawa and Amami, there's pretty much a subtropical oceanic climate, so that's more of like an island climate. That's the weather of Japan. It's not bad. It just depends where you go and what time of year. If you're going during the summer, just don't go to the islands if you don't want it to be too hot. If you're going to the winter, during the winter, just don't go too far north. However, Japan as a country has a lot better transportation network, has a lot better infrastructure overall. So if it is snowing, it's probably not going to be a clusterfuck there. It's probably going to be cleaned up. It probably isn't even going to really stop your vacation at all. It's just going to be like, oh, you should wear something warm. That's Japan's weather. I cede my time.
Neat. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah.
You did it in under 3 minutes. I appreciate you.
Wow.
Justin, I have a question for you just to save you some quick time. What was the temperature in Greece today? And again, today, as of recording this, is April 6th, a Tuesday. It's about 8 p.m., but just kind of bear with us as we just kind of give the averages for the high and the low.
I had that. God, I was going to get into it. That's in my notes. It was 72.
72. That was the high or the low?
That was the high. Let me double check, because that was I looked that up this morning. So
the reason I ask is because today in Boston, my high was 62, my low was 43. So it's been about the same
in Tokyo
across the world, it seems.
Well,
the
Greece,
high was 71, the low was 62.
isn't Greece on the same like lateral latitude line?
Latitude.
That sounds right. Right?
I don't know what number it is though.
I believe Greece is slightly
Do
higher.
you want me to like say my stuff, or like
Go, Justin, go.
are we just gonna have a discussion about this? Like I don't.
Sorry for talking. I'm sorry for talking.
I was giving you some free time. We'll get into it right after.
I'm gonna bust out the barometer real quick.
Okay, let me know when. John.
Justin, in the words of Iron Chef, begin.
Okay, so Greece is pretty temperate. The highs and lows in Greece, we're talking about mainly Athens, though Greece isn't really too huge, not like the span of Japan to have like a lot of different temperatures. Greece's temperature kind of like is around the same just because of the size of, what we're talking. I'm going to be generally sticking to Athens and Santorini. That's where my like week-long vacation is kind of centered, because there's a lot to do between those two that you can do in a week. Trust me, I've done that week vacation with a master planner. So we had a lot of stuff filled in. So you could do in a week, you can cover those two places. So the first thing I want to start off with is even in December, the minimum temperature in December, and it's the minimum average temperature is 50, with the high being 55, and that's in December. Around July and August is normally the high, and the high is around 85, 90. So it doesn't even get like too hot when it's hot. It stays like, not that bad. Oh yeah, and I had the current temperature in Athens when I was writing this was 72. The weather around is not too hot, not too cool. It doesn't get too rainy either during those hot days. So it's not very wet. In July, the average rainfall days is 3, whereas in August you get about 2 rainfall days in the entire month. So it's not too bad as far as like wet. It's not like someplace like London where it's raining all the time. Santorini is very close to Athens, so it's around the same temperature. It's an island that's off of Greece. The best time to visit Greece is around September and October, because at that point the weather is like perfect. It's like that 72, like 70 kind of like perfect temperature. There's not a lot of tourists around, because usually a lot of the tourists come in the summer months, when things are, when they want to go like surfing and all that kind of stuff. So if you go in September, it's warm with an average temperature varying between like 70 and 80. In Athens, the average high temperature in September slightly decreases from a tropical 87 in August to a moderate, like hot, like 80 degrees. And it has about 4 rainfall days. So it's still not that wet. So if you go to Greece, you get like that. I'm telling you from my experience, it's perfect weather. It feels so nice all of the time. It's just an amazing place as far as like weather to visit. Usually in like a t-shirt and shorts, any time of year. And we went around September and it was just beautiful. So, so that's basically what I have for weather. My argument is basically that Greece is like that perfect medium temperature all the time where you're going to. So yeah,
Sounds
that's
pretty
what I have.
boring to me.
Justin, would you like me to stop the clock?
Yeah, go ahead, John. It's fine.
Okay, your time is up. Thank you, sir. Just over 3 minutes.
So we
As-
can roll those 2 minutes into main attractions.
It's weird. It's almost like if you do preparation, you're like concise with your time.
I mean, yeah, preparations A through G felt pretty good, but preparation
Yeah.
was really great on the whole.
I hate it here.
Okay, so usually we open it to any questions. If anybody on the panel, board, whatever, has any questions about what we said about weather, just so we can clarify it a little bit, and then Bill will give his score. So anybody have any questions for Ryan or I?
Nah, man,
No?
I'm good.
Okay.
I mean, I'm remaining neutral on this until I give my score, correct? Like, am I asking questions or am
You
I?
are allowed to ask questions, though.
Yeah, you can
Okay,
ask
okay,
questions.
yeah.
If you want to clarify on something we said, yeah.
So basically, from what I gathered, both of these climates are both pretty temperate overall. Like, there's not like a huge variance. I'm thinking like from a mental standpoint, you got like New England weather in Japan over here. You got kind of like NorCal weather in Greece. So like, consistent versus you get 4 seasons. I can see the
Yeah.
benefit to both. I as someone who's experienced both, I see the draw to both of those things. As far as a vacation goes, it honestly, it's great because with Greece, it lends to like a year-round situation, where with Japan, you're like, well, I may have to plan around specific times because maybe winter is a little bit less
Phil,
convenient.
Bill,
I
I'd
can
like
only
you to
go
pick-
during the 2-week span of cherry blossom festival season.
Yes, Bill, I would like to also have you, before you sell away winter in Japan, I
Yeah.
would like to make a proposal for you to picture something. Sitting in an onsen hot spring while the snow is around you and you're sitting outside in an onsen hot spring.
Listen, power couple.
I
I
mean-
forgot to change it.
Let me just say.
Okay, well, if
Wait,
you're going to give
Wait.
give some kind of
Let me do my thing real quick, and then I'll
Okay.
I'll lend the floor.
Don't worry.
Power couple. I did not say that having the winter was a bad thing. I just said that you would have to plan more specifically with the timing of your trip
Yeah.
based on the
Yeah.
weather that you would like.
Yes.
So, the fact that Japan's got hot springs, that's neither here nor there. I mean, yeah, it's dope, but but like you do have to do more work as far as the planning
Yeah.
goes, because
Yeah.
you need to make sure that you're there during a more specific time, where it sounds like with Greece, you kind of have like year-round pick of the, scheduling.
All right,
because
now, Bill, hear me out.
yeah,
It's literally any part of the year, and all of a sudden you're naked in one of either the Aegean Sea or the other sea right there. The weather is perfect. There's like a lady or a dude, not gonna judge, whatever you're into, right with you, also naked, skinny dipping, maybe catching squid. Like, you can do that all year round.
True.
I don't understand
I
the
don't
point
really
of what you were just
yeah.
saying.
I don't know
Yeah,
where
I
the
don't know what
I
you
don't
were
really
trying
wanna
to
be-
say.
I don't
Listen,
want to be
were you
naked catching
proposing, like,
squid.
your new porn or something like that?
I mean,
John?
I want to do
you
that.
think
I really
like-
want to do that, but I'm not sure why it was said.
Also,
Ryan
I
was
don't
like,
wanna be
listen, it
catching
could be
squid
snowing.
while
Also-
I'm naked.
yourself
I'm
in
good.
a hot
Not for
spring
nothing, I can
while
do
it's
that here in
snowing.
America.
And I'm over here like, just
That's
imagine
true.
yourself like hanging out in the fucking Aegean Sea while it's summer or winter or whatever, and now you're happy and maybe
You're-
skinny dipping. Who knows?
Not for nothing, you're assuming that I want to go into the water.
That is
which is-
fair. We both did that.
You both
I mean-
assumed
See, I
that,
just
like,
talked about weather. I didn't put any kind of activities. Activities is the next I
ooh,
didn't put any kind of activities.
Can,
I just
can I
did
ask
weather,
a question
so,
based on the rubric? And then I'll give my
Sure.
score.
Yeah, go ahead.
Does this place cost more for on season?
No, not usually. It's a general average around the year because of how the temperatures are.
According
How expensive is cherry blossom season? Totally not Godzilla.
The
That's my
only
question.
reason a person goes to Japan.
Oh, all right.
Fuck the rest of the year.
Cherry blossom season is probably very expensive, but I would say that there's certain holidays and stuff that maybe Greece would be more expensive. I mean, if you're as far as like, is it cheaper to go during the winter? No, not really. I mean, as far as like actual like,
Less.
because one thing you have to factor in about Japan that you don't really factor in that much about Greece is that Japan also, a lot of people are traveling back and forth for business reasons. So a lot of the prices for things are more stable in Japan because there's always that base of people that have to travel back and forth for business reasons.
Right.
Whereas in Greece, maybe not so much.
Time.
All right.
Alrighty. So score out of 10 based on the weather. Gonna give. Wow, this is actually pretty hard. Like, it's pretty close, honestly, because like I like it's almost like a wash for me because Greece, you know what you're getting. With Japan, there's a little more variance, but it lends to like different things. I feel like I'm gonna give Greece an 8, and just for like the questionable variance of weather, I'm gonna give Japan a 7. I think it's close. I don't think like these are both good scores, guys. Like, this ain't IGN. This is real life.
All right, now I have a question because you both didn't talk about it. Natural disasters, because that's technically weather.
That's
Yeah,
under
fucking
safety.
kaiju coming out
That
of
would be
nowhere.
under safety.
Well,
Technically under
okay.
safety.
Greece has had earthquakes, right? Recently.
Yes. Yeah.
And Japan is like
Tsunami.
tsunami town.
Also,
Japan's
Godzilla.
in the middle of the fucking ocean. What do you want to do?
Also,
Japan has
also-
Godzilla, which is
Yeah.
a big risk.
yeah,
big
there's-
Japan woke up one morning and said, "You know what? Fuck this city." And then like Godzilla and King Kong fought, and there was also a giant robot guy. Spoiler alert. Sorry.
That
well,
wasn't Japan though. That was Hong Kong. But yeah,
that was Hong Kong. That was
Oh, it's Hong Kong? Oh, well, fuck
Yeah.
it. Who cares? It's China.
No, it's
China-
King Kong.
there's
Get it
Chinese
right.
backers for the movie, so they had to destroy
I
Hong
hate
Kong
you.
because they don't like Hong Kong. Yeah.
yeah, basically.
Spoilers. You guys suck.
It's on
You
HBO
guys-
Max. You should have watched it already.
Haven't had the time.
All right.
All right.
Okay, so next part is main attractions, which is like places to go, things to do, that kind of stuff. I guess I am going first, and
And begin.
begin. Cool. Okay, so Greece is basically like a very historic place. A lot of the stuff to do is either focused around the weather, the food, or the history. And there's a lot of history here. First of all, we'll talk about the Acropolis, Acropolis, and the other ancient Greek monuments. There's a lot of temples and amazing structures that are thousands of years old that are still standing that you can go and like stand in and see. And like it's just amazing to go there and see all of the history around you, because they've literally done an amazing job of, especially we're talking about Athens, they've done an amazing job of mixing the history and the buildings that are thousands of years old that are still there, mixing it into the city that's also building. So you have this awesome like feeling of like history flowing into new stuff. So there'll be like a new building that's a restaurant, and then right next door is like this monument that you can go see. It's awesome. So the Greek Acropolis museum is built on top of the ruins. It's a place you can go to that they have all the statues and all of the artifacts that they've taken from the Acropolis. God damn it, I can't speak.
You'll get it.
They've taken
What about
from
the
that
Acropolis?
and a lot of the other places around there, a lot of the temples, and they've put it into one place. One of the coolest parts about this museum is the fact that it is built on top of ruins and the floor is see-through. So there's certain parts of the museum that you look down and you look into, like you're on top of ruins. So you look down, you're actually looking. Say that again, John.
3 more minutes. Sorry.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I have not gotten through like. Okay, cool. Yeah, just wanted to show that off really quick. So that's the opening of the museum. As you can see, the ruins that are like underneath the
Wow.
museum.
Oh, that's really cool.
So, yeah. So I thought that was cool. I want to show that. Another thing is if you like to shop, there's a really famous shop in Athens called the Plaka Street Market. It's a long street in the center of Athens that has a lot of shopping. It's like historical and new stuff. It's a really cool place to go. There's a lot of rooftop bars because the Acropolis, God damn it, it's on top of a hill, and it's an amazing sight to see because they light it up at night. So there's a lot of rooftop bars in Athens so that you can sit out and have a drink or have food and look out onto the city. And like I said, there's this awesome mix of like historical like things and everything else. So you can see all of that. And then the shining jewel is the temple on the hill, like shining in the middle of the city. The stadium, the Pantheonic Stadium is still there. It was built in 330 BC and reconstructed in 144 AD. It was the place of the opening and closing ceremonies for the first ever modern Olympics, and it has a small museum aside about the history of the Olympics. You can then take a small plane ride to Santorini, which is it's hard to even put into words how beautiful Santorini is, but it's an island. The most famous thing that you probably would think of for it is the blue roofs with the white buildings with the cliff tops. I actually have a picture of it behind me.
Oh, you're talking
night.
about the Sonic the Hedgehog level.
The Sonic the Hedgehog city, yes. So there's a lot of cliffside hotels, cliffside places to eat. You literally just walk along the cliffside in most parts of like the major city, because that's just one part of Santorini. It's also a giant island. You can rent an ATV, which is what we did, and the ATVs are allowed on the road. So you literally take an ATV along the entire island for the day and go visit like the cities and stuff. It's awesome. There's like cliffside roads that you can go on with the ATV, which scared the shit out of Amber, but it was really fun for me who was driving. Okay. And then in Santorini, they also have black and red beaches that are like it's because of the color of the stones, but it's literally a whole beach that's all black. And it's really cool. We went there and got drunk. So
Hey.
yeah. I think that's my time.
Well, you got 15 seconds, but I will call it there. So I appreciate
Okay, yeah.
it. Ryan, your retort.
All right. Are you ready?
Yeah, I already said go.
I'm all ears.
All right. Let's do this. All right. All right, Bill. One of the best parts of Japan is Japan has so many sides to it. Just like the weather part of it, Japan has so many sides to it. I'm going to start with the stuff that's obvious that I'm picking out for you, and then we'll go into other stuff. All right. So one main place that you're going to want to go is Akihabara, right? It's basically anime come to life that you can go and shop there. It's amazing. You could go buy electronics. You can go to arcades. The giant Sony arcade is there. There's maid cafes there that you could have lunch with a maid serving you for fun. Yeah, super fun, right? And then, oh, come on, stop that. All right. I can't see my top. This is not cool. All right, cool. So next one I want to talk about Super Nintendo World. Super Nintendo
Mario
World
World.
is in Japan. You could go and actually be in a park designed by the original creator of Mario to actually stand within Mario. It is fucking amazing. And I'll talk about the cost later on, don't worry. And then there's the Gundam dock. You could go visit the Gundam factory, the outlet store for Gundams, and you could see a full standing RX-78 Gundam. And you
Wait,
could travel
pause.
up and down. But
Because it's more than that.
Japan has a
Pause.
lot
Don't
of
take all the
different.
time. Don't worry.
Riv-
Riv, let him talk. We'll talk later.
Yes.
We
Yes.
have time
so
for
much
rebuttals
more
later.
to it. Time resume.
Yeah. But Japan has different sides to it. I mean, you don't just have to be a nerd to really enjoy Japan. There's a lot of other things. For instance, the old palaces. For example, this is the Kyoto Imperial Palace, the Imperial Palace from before it got moved to Tokyo. The capital got moved to Tokyo. There is buildings just as old as all the buildings in Athens that have actually been upkept in Japan. Places where you could walk in and you could actually feel like you were there because people actually are still dressed and are still traditionally the same in these places. There is also a lot of nature in Japan, in places the nature walk. This is the Kyoto Bamboo Gardens. Walking down there's several shrines within this park, and you could walk around. Of course, there's also Mount Fuji that you could go and hike up at any time that during your stay there. Where I had more. Yes, and this is the Sensoji Temple within Tokyo. This is actually within the grounds of Tokyo. Once again, perfect place to go and travel and actually look at the history of Japan. People will, it's almost like a living history a lot of the time when you're visiting these places in Japan. Yeah. Do I have other things? I kind of like push through. But there's a lot of things that are besides that are also fall under the category of things like hotel and food that are also attractions. For example, you could go and stay, as I was saying, at an onsen, stay at a Ryokan hotel and have an onsen to go and bathe in. You could go visit wildlife through all the different sections of Japan. There's the monkeys up in the winter section, and there's all the wildlife outside in the oceans.
Ryan.
There's everything you want to do in Japan. Japan has everything, and Japan takes everything and brings it up a notch. There you go. How am I doing for time, John?
You got 40 seconds left if you need any more.
40 seconds left?
Yep.
40 seconds left. Trying to figure out if there's something I didn't talk about. No, I'm good. I feel good.
I'm gonna stop the clock.
All right.
Cool. may I add something on Ryan's behalf?
Okay.
So Tokyo Base is more than just a life-size Gundam and Gunpla store. It's like 6 sections, and each section is dedicated to a different part of the whole Gunpla hobby. So you've got the store, then you've got like the advanced store, which has like the higher grade Gundam models. And then you get to a point where the next part is, there's an airbrush station, and it's
You still have the time going, right? Like this
awesome.
isn't just like free fucking shit that
I have a question.
All right.
What do I do if I don't like anime or video games?
I already
nothing.
pointed out
That's all
the
Japan is
nature
for.
and history. I pointed those out.
Val,
That's all Japan
I'd
is
also
for.
like to point out that he is catering to his judge, which I believe is a fair point
Yes.
in this particular
No,
scenario.
I pointed out nature and
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
there's everything in Japan, Val. What do you like to do on vacation?
I'm just saying I'm just saying I don't like video games or anime. So I don't to plot me in Japan and just say there's nature here and there's animals in the ocean.
There's shrines.
fair.
Like this
That's
pretty
fair.
shrine right here you could go visit.
that I see one tree.
there's at least 2 in that.
a
That's
tree
picture.
well,
is
hey, I
at
see 3 and that see that fucking rules, but you didn't tell me there was a sweet bamboo garden.
Yes, I did. Yes, I
Right,
did.
well then I wasn't paying attention because you talked about
There's
anime.
also Mount
For the
Fuji.
course for you, Val.
Val really needs that caffeine bump ASAP.
I took it. I'm waiting for it to kick in.
There's
It's gonna
also
kick in at the
Mount
end of the
Fuji, Val.
episode.
It's gonna kick in at 1 a.m. and I'm not gonna be able to sleep.
That's when you just take an edible and hope for the best. That's what I'm
Sleep
gonna
All
is
right.
for the week.
All right, I believe my time is seated.
Yep.
Yeah. I think the other part that you weren't even gonna say it because I think you were just expecting me to is there is a Universal Studios there. There is a Disney.
I did because Universal Studios is where Nintendo World is.
Yeah,
Is there
Yeah.
a Disney?
there is a Disney. It's actually the Disney Tokyo.
Oh fuck Disney.
Hear me out. It's not owned by the Disney company. It's owned by its own like Japanese conglomerate. It's just they licensed the name Disney. It's actually the second best Disney park in the entire world between Tokyo, Disney Sea. It's beautiful. Ryan jizzed his pants when I showed him like the Jules Verne area.
Oh yeah, there's Jules Verne. Never mind. I take back that fuck Disney
Verne
part. That's
area in Disney Sea is absolutely phenomenal, and I don't have any pictures like ready to go, but it's one of those. It's a bucket list item for me.
Clarification: does Greece have Super Nintendo World?
No, it does not. I can
No,
name
Greece
it.
does not
It
have
also
Super
doesn't have
Nintendo
a
World. Greece
Jules Verne
Greece is
area.
not. Greece is a place you go to relax and have nice weather
It's
and
an
do
adult
some cool
vacation.
historical.
So,
Yes.
so you're saying
Okay,
Greece
it's an
is for
adult-
normies?
And maybe jerk off with a calamari. I don't fucking know.
This conversation got real weird.
I'm just doing a throwback to 10 minutes ago.
That's fair. That's fair. I think
Um,
I'm ready to give my final
There's-
ruling.
There's one more question I want to ask both Justin and Ryan.
Okay.
Oh,
Justin.
please, John, please.
I'm gonna let you go first.
Hmm.
In terms of alcohols, what do you got for us?
Is that under food?
Honestly, the question is, do they serve alcohol? Because what kind it is kind of moot to me as a.
I mean, yes, there's local beer. There's beer the Greeks have been making beer for a very long time. They're known for their wines. There's actually a brewery on Santorini called the Drunken Donkey. I have a t-shirt and I have a sticker for them somewhere. I forget where the sticker is. I have a sticker from them somewhere, but it's a brewery that we actually went to, and we got giant bottles of their beer because they don't sell it anywhere in the United States. At least they didn't at that time. And that's actually what we got drunk on at the beach in Santorini. So we drove an
Hell
ATV
yeah.
to the beach. Each of us drank like this giant thing of beer and then passed out on the beach drunk, and then woke up like an hour later and then went and had dinner.
Did
So.
you try the ouzo?
Yes, yes. Uzo too. Yes, I didn't even think about that. Yes, I had Uzo when I had traditional Greek, which we'll get into the food, but traditional Greek pizza one night. I had Uzo with that.
Uzo's intense, man.
And Ryan, you have the layup answer here, and I'm just going to fill it out for you. But yes, there's sake galore. The oldest.
There's also
sake-
beer. There's also a lot.
There's
of
also a
alcohol.
section for this.
Riv, I was gonna say,
Okay.
Riv, did you see the rubric? There
No, I
is a
did,
food.
but like
there
these
is
are
a food and
places
drink
that
section.
You can go and do things. Like this is just adds to like the attractions to me. Like you can go to the world's oldest sake brewery, which actually dates back to the age of the
I
samurai.
didn't realize I was up against two people.
That's
Like,
true. It does
seriously?
feel.
I
It
never
does
asked for
feel a
help.
bit of. It does
I
feel
never
like
asked
this
for
is
help.
Riv and Godzilla versus Justin right now.
I never asked for help. All right,
Justin,
I never
Justin, I got
asked.
your
So
back.
I will kindly say, Riv, unless you're on the clock with Ryan, moving forward, like if it's just a pro Japan situation, you gotta give Justin some extra slack there too. Then
I can do that because he hit Uzo, which was the one I was hoping he was gonna hit.
I
It's
hit
like a
Uzo.
world famous Uzo like factory, and I don't know what the right word is that I was.
Well,
hoping to-
there's a whole section for it, so he's
So-
gonna get to it.
so
I
I'm
believe
ready to
you,
give
Justin.
my
Just
final
away from a
judgment.
section that I don't really know how I'm gonna really do very much. So go.
Travel score sheet. Let's.
Yeah, where's the score sheet?
Oh, yes.
So this is where I'm at so
I'm a
far.
visual learner.
Both places are absolutely beautiful. Both places are just they have a ton of history and they have just a huge amount of things to do. I mean, they're whole ass countries. Like there's a lot going on.
I still had like 4 things on my list I didn't get to because I ran out of time. So
I mean, and
you had 15
I mean,
seconds, Justin. You could have said that.
Japan benefits from being a larger country, just physically larger, so you can fit
True.
more things into that country. So technically they do get a small edge there. So I'm gonna say on the scale here, attractions, we're gonna go a 7 for Greece and a 9 for Japan.
Whoa. Oh yeah.
And I think that's reasonable. I don't think
I think that's
I'm out of line
reasonable.
here.
Of course, you think it's reasonable, Ryan.
there.
Hey
I'll
man,
fix
we
it.
had to
Reese.
we had to establish a whole another section for me to win last week. So
Oh Lord.
Yeah,
I can only
that's
imagine.
that's because Steve didn't prepare, so it
Of course I didn't. I'm the only one who stays true.
That's fair.
Oh,
Be true to
what?
yourself.
He's true to you.
no, he's talking about staying true to our original format where we just didn't plan and didn't like just talked out of our ass for an hour.
Those make the best podcasts.
That's true. That's why I signed up for this thing in the first place.
All right.
All right.
you signed up because you love me.
How expensive is it to go
That's
there
true.
for a week?
Are we starting?
yeah,
Wait, that's a different section.
I kind of
It's
need.
your
I'm on like a little bit of a limited timer, so I kind of want to keep
Okay.
this.
it's
Party
your turn to
going.
go first, right?
All right, I'm going. All right, so how expensive is it? So Japan, yes, let us get it out of the way. Japan is going to be a lot more expensive to get to. It is. It just is. I can't argue with that. I can't do anything about that. It's gonna run. Our metric that we decided on was we both have to leave from Chicago. So Chicago to Tokyo is a 13.5-hour flight at around $1,250 to $1,700 a ticket. So yeah, let's get
Is
it
that
out of the
round
way.
trip or is
It's
that
more
one way?
expensive.
12 and a half
that's
hour flight
round.
from New York, 12 and a half hour flight from the West Coast.
Chicago.
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 Oh, we're
middle
basing
of the
everything out
country.
of Chi-Town.
Yeah, we're leaving from Chicago. All right, get that out of the way. So,
Right?
sorry, he's talking. So, all right. So the next thing is the good news. The good news is Japan has a lot of ways that you can save money. For example, a rail pass. You can get a 7-day rail pass in Japan for around $275, and it will get you on high-speed rail. It will get you on metro rail. It will get you on regular trains. It will get you on buses. It will get you on all of the legendary infrastructure of Japan. One pass, you pay once for 7 days. So it's a pretty good deal there. And since Japan's infrastructure is what it is, that'll get you everywhere you want to go, pretty much. If you need to use like maybe an Uber just to get like, oh, you're out in the country and you get like a little ways, yeah, you're gonna have to pay for that. But that's pretty much anywhere you go. So hotels, Japan has a interesting theory on hotels. You could get hotels that start at $18 for a hostel, which is way down here. And then you can move up from there and get a capsule hotel, which is basically you're sleeping in a coffin all night long. But if that's fine, if you're fine sleeping in basically a refrigerator box, that's $30 a night. So that's that. But if you want to keep moving up, you could get a low-end business hotel. That's about $50 a night. If you want to keep moving up from there, there's a lot of different options. You could move up in business hotels or regular hotels. You could go to what's called a love hotel. Love hotels are basically the motels of Japan. However, they are fucking crazy and awesome. You could go and buy a completely and totally like a room that is a maze for some reason. And you could go into it and go through holes and go through different sections of it. That can range you from $75 to $125 a night. They're pretty cheap because they're basically motels. You could also get food there or everything like that. And then at the high end, you have really high-end hotels, but you could also stay at, like I said, a Ryokan, a traditional Japanese hotel. It's gonna be like $400, $500. I also wanted to point out a few of the things I mentioned in the before section, the attraction section. So Nintendo World and Universal Studios, $65 ticket, better than a Disney ticket. Akihabara, free. And you can get there with your rail pass. It's fine. Gundam Factory Deck, you could go to the actual Gundam factory for pretty much for $30. You can go and do the whole campus. And starting this year, they're going to have you can go up into the actual dock with the Gundam. So as far as all of the historic places, most of them are in national parks and completely free. So you could pretty much go visit all those things for free. As far, so you already have your transportation done. You already have your hotels, which you could do a range of hotels and different things. You could pretty much, as soon as you pay to get over to Japan, you could pretty much basically backpack across Japan or just take bullet trains and whiz around Japan. You could get, even though Japan is a giant place, you could still get around it. What?
10 seconds.
All right, you could still get around it for that one price for your whole week. You could start up at the top and go all the way down in a week and stop and find places. I'm done.
I would like to chime in with just one comment and then we can move on to Justin. It's ridiculous that they charge people to see the Gundam when it should be large enough where you should be able to see it from the general public.
Oh, no. They're not charging you to see the Gundam. They're charging you to go do like the full tour in the Gundam thing, and they're charging you to go up into the elevator. That's what you're buying tickets for.
Okay, that's pretty high.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you can stand outside and take pictures all you want. Yeah.
Justin.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, let me know.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm good. Okay. So, the Japan, Ryan had to make some concessions to try and make it sound more affordable by doing like backpacking and weird hotels and stuff. I'm going to tell you just from personal experience. We did a week in Greece, and it cost us for the two of us, including flights. It was like 1,500, I think. It's not that bad. An average flight from Chicago in September, which, like I said, September is like the ideal time to go. an average flight, well, the flight that I found, a good flight from Chicago to Greece round trip, so there and back at the end of the week, is $1,000 a person. And that's just an average one. You can find, I mean, I don't know how Amber does it, but you can find cheaper flights than that. Amber is a whiz when it comes to this crap. So the average price of a hotel, this is a 4-star hotel, not a coffin. A 4-star hotel is around like $100 a night, 100, 125, depending on where you're staying. And that's like right in Athens. I think ours was like 75. We were a little bit out of the city center, but it was a really nice hotel that we were in. The monuments that you want to go to, there's actually this really cool thing for Athens. It's called the Monument Pass. And what you do is you pay €30 and you can go to any of them. It gives you a ticket and you can just go and you show them the ticket and you get in and you visit the monuments. And it's a monument pass. And there's a list of like, I think it's like 15 that it lets you get into. I know that we didn't even have time to see all of them. So, because I mean, a lot of these monuments are huge. So they're like not miles, but they're gigantic, like temples. And like, there's one that's the library. I forget what the library is called, but it's like this ancient library where they had these scrolls and like it's gigantic. It's huge. You go and walk amongst, the monuments and stuff. And it's €30 for to see all of that. The Athens Archaeological Museum is only €10. The Santorini Museum, which is the museum of Santorini when you're on the island that shows you like the history of Santorini, that's only €2. All the Santorini beaches are free to go to. The ATV for the day that I was talking about is €40 for the day. Ryan, you take a flight. It's a 30-minute flight. I think it's like 30 or 45 minutes flight from Athens to Santorini. That's €30 a person to take that flight. And it's kind of like it's like a smaller type plane, but it's like a normal plane you're on. We called it like the taxi of the air because it was just kind of like one little seatbelt that you had on and no safety. Like it was kind of an interesting thing that we went and did. Food ranges anywhere between like €5 and €10 for non-sit down places. Sit down places are going to be the same as like, if you go to any other kind of city, like it really all depends on how fancy of food you want and how fancy of a place you want. So that kind of ranges on what you want to spend. But if you're going around, you can do a normal day of food for like 20 to €30, maybe not even. And the travel around Athens, you can pay €22 and there's a 3-day travel pass that includes round trip to and from the airport that allows you to get on the bus and the other travel things to go around Athens as well. So, you can be pretty frugal with your money and still have a nice vacation where you're not, making any kind of exceptions and trying to, tighten your wallet. You can have a nice vacation for not that much money. So that's my time. I don't know how much time I have left, but that's what I had on the subject.
We have 1 minute remaining.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you both one question. And it's really just a ballpark thing is if you total it all up, what's the price for 1 week?
So
like
I'm going to jump in and say that is kind of a really hard question to answer because it totally depends on what you want to do. Right.
Yeah.
Because like Justin said, it's like, do you want to spend a little bit more on, your food and your hotel or whatever? Like it kind of like caters to taste. So, I mean, it can be as expensive or as inexpensive as you make it. I think the biggest like static number that doesn't change is like what's average airfare, like because like airfare is like that's going to be like the biggest like difference because it seems like either way you cut it, you're going to be you're going to spend the airfare either way, but then it like the food and hotels and stuff like that's kind of on you.
Right. That was also, that flight is a 1-stop. I know they get cheaper when you do 2 stops because when we did it, we stopped in Sweden for a couple hours. So that's a 1-stop, and the 1-stop is 12 hours and 15 minutes. I think I said that's the average from Chicago to Greece.
And
How
can
much
I
was
just
an hour? What?
How much was the price?
1,000 round trip per person.
What was the price for airfare on Japan?
$12.50. at the low end, 1750 for, I think,
Okay.
for good.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
And
on average,
around
we're
the
looking
same 13 and a half hours.
right.
only
So
around
on
hours.
average, you're looking at about, give or take, about a $500 difference for the ticket.
Yeah.
Plane
Yeah.
ticket.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm ready to give my judgment here.
Neato.
So let's see. For Greece, price point, it just definitely seems like overall I'm going to be spending less money with Greece. Like that's just how that would just end up working out. So we'll shoot Greece. I'm going to give them like, because it's still over international travel, stuff like that. So we'll give them a 7. As far as international vacations go, it's probably going to be on the cheaper side. And let's be real, Greece's economy is not doing that great. So things are probably a little bit cheaper than normal. Japan, going to probably hit it with a 5. I know I'm going to be dropping a lot of dough if
It's
I go
fair.
to Japan.
That's totally what
Right.
I was like. I'm gonna lose the price section. I mean,
Right.
like,
Right. I
But,
think
I
you knew
mean,
that
like,
going in.
Japan is like a once in a lifetime trip for most people.
I mean, so
you know?
so is Greece. And
yeah.
so, I mean, either way, these are both big boy vacations. They're not.
Bill, I tried to.
This
fight-
isn't
I
this
tried
isn't
to-
driving to Hammonasset.
I tried to fight for from California because I would have won if it was from California.
I do think it's fair though that you guys both called it from the same airport. I think that is.
That's what he tried to go. He's like, oh, he tried to be slick. He's like, oh, is Bill from California? And I was like, yeah, we're not doing that. Fuck you. No. I was like, we're doing
I
it from
said
the
Bill
one
from
central
O'Hare.
place.
Yeah, I think no, that's a good call. That's a good call.
Yeah, he
Does
tried
it-
to be slick with that. Does Bill live in California? I know what you're asking. Fuck you. I know what you're asking.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
okay.
so how safe is it here?
Okay, so you went first, so I will go first here. So I am ready whenever you want to start the timer, John.
Iron Chef.
Okay, so I'm going to I don't know how honest Ryan's going to be here. This is kind of a hard question because you can try and make it sound as best as you want to. I am going to be as honest as possible here. So the first thing I will bring up is, like you were saying, they're kind of rebounding from, you know, a collapse of their economy. They're kind of have issues there. One of the safety issues that I do have to bring up is the fact that there are protests, not usually in Athens. It's, you know, they're not usually near tourist centers. You're not going to be like involved in a protest unless you really want to go to like the government buildings, which are kind of separate a little bit from where you'd be doing a lot of your touristy stuff. So, you know, that is one thing to bring up is, you know, there are protests. If you do get involved in them, they have not been violent in quite a while. They've been kind of more peaceful on the peaceful side. The rating for Athens is very safe. The biggest issue that you're going to deal with in Athens is pickpockets. That's the biggest issue that they have, is pickpocketing, especially in like the Athens center and the marketplace and not near the monuments, more like the city centers, in like the squares and stuff. But usually when you go traveling, one of the things that they tell you is to get something that's more in front of you on your person to put valuable stuff, because pickpocketing is kind of an issue everywhere. In Athens, it's the number one crime that, you know, tourists deal with. It's like the highest on the list of is pickpocket is getting things stolen. So as long as you're smart about that, then that's good. Another thing I wanted to point out, which could be a plus or a negative depending on how you want to look at it, is prostitution is legal. So, you know. So yeah, that's one thing I wanted to point out. And the only story that I have with this, we didn't get anything stolen the entire time that we were there, or even have any kind of time that I thought something would have been stolen. I actually had some more things stolen in New York City than here, but the one thing that we had happen is they have these people that are trying to like sell you things, just like New York and whatever. And there was one, they were trying to sell bracelets, and Amber was walking by them and they put a bracelet on her wrist, telling her that it was free and they just wanted a tip. And then when she's like, no, I don't want the bracelet, they said, oh no, you have the bracelet, now give us $5. And they were kind of like trying to get us to pay them. And Amber took it off and like threw it at them. But that's the closest that we came to any kind of like crime or issues or anything in Athens. So
That just
it's
Oh my god!
it's a
when your
pretty
time is
safe
up, I gotta
place.
think.
Minute,
Yeah.
Justin.
Yeah, it's a pretty safe place. There's a really interesting thing about Athens when we were there, that it can kind of make it seem from a more Western, like if you're used to being in New York or around here, there's a lot of what looks like vandalism, and it's not vandalism. It's actually art. They allow artists to go and like paint the walls, and it looks really cool. And I know our first perspective is we went into Athens, we were like, oh wow, there's vandalism all over the place. And we were corrected by a local that said, no, that's not vandalism. That's art. That's people actually putting art in the wall. Like they allow them to do it. Sorry. And it's not tags or anything. It's actually full art. It's just, from coming from like New York City or New Haven, it looks like vandalism, and it's not. So, yeah, but that's what I had in the safety issue. The biggest issue you're going to have is pickpocketing, but that can be solved pretty easily just by kind of being smart about it. So yeah, that's what I got.
All right, my turn.
Yep.
Go.
All right, I'm going to just open it up with Japan is ranked number 5 in safest countries in the world to travel to. That is behind Iceland, Singapore, Norway, and Switzerland. Japan is, I'm going to get to it in the next section, more about their culture, but their culture is one of cleanliness and order in a lot of things, which has produced a very safe place to live. There's a lot of, it was kind of hard to research this section because all of it was like, you shouldn't travel anymore because it's COVID. Don't fucking travel. It's COVID. What are you doing? Don't travel. It's COVID.
COVID. I
However,
believe this is COVID aside.
Yes. This is COVID aside. This is, we're finally free. It is time to run away.
Where did you get that top 10? That it is not 5. Whatever.
It
Continue.
says-
That's wrong.
It's
but
in the article I was reading. It said number 5 in
An article from 1996, Justin. Just go with it.
2019 Global Peace Index.
last year it was number 10.
It's still top
Okay.
10 out of
It's
the
still top
hundreds
10.
of countries. So anyway,
Yes. All right. Japan didn't go through a recession. Japan actually did pretty well considering how close to the initial outbreak it was with COVID as it is. And that is because Japan is a very clean country. People already wear masks there, everything like that during flu season. Japan is a very health conscious place to go visit. Yes, there's pickpockets. That is a thing you're going to find anywhere you go as a as a tourist. It's just something that's good that happens. So you just get your little sack on the side there. You get your travel wallet that goes right there, and
Your
you're
prison
good. Don't worry
pocket.
about it. You're fine. Yeah. As far as earthquakes and tsunamis, they happen. Shit happens. I mean, there's earthquakes in Greece also. There's earthquakes in a lot of different places. Yes, there is a risk of it. However, Japan has also been dealing with it since its inception. Japan knows how to deal with it. They know how to basically take care of natural disasters and make sure it doesn't become worse than it is. And also a lot of the places like Tokyo and Kyoto that you would be visiting as a tourist are specifically built to withstand things like earthquakes and stuff like that. So that's not really too much of a risk. As far as health, Japan also has a pretty damn good health system, so that's not too bad. In fact, I might even trust some doctors in Japan over some doctors in the US. I don't know. That might just be me. whatever. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and that's pretty much all I have for safety. It's kind of a weird thing to actually look up, but yeah, I see my time.
You cannot rule out the 0.0000001% chance that a Godzilla could appear.
That's true. That is very true.
Which is something I will take in account when I score this country.
Bill,
Yes, but you also have to. Then you also have to be.
Grim.
You also have to score in the risk of being bored that there is no Godzilla.
I mean, I'm just saying it's not a 0% chance.
I'm pretty agnostic on the Godzilla front. I'm going to be honest. Bill, just to alleviate any fears you may have, I had a friend who was in Greece during the 2011 economic collapse that they had. They primarily stayed away from the tourist sections because they knew that, the tourism was basically keeping them afloat. So like Ryan and Justin said, they're going to have pickpockets just like you have in New York City or even your current city, but primarily actual mass dangerous things. It's not at all failed state status.
Oh, no. And honestly, when it comes to traveling abroad and stuff like that, you got to pay attention. You should ultimately you're responsible for yourself. So a lot of people who get pickpocketed, they're not paying attention or they're setting themselves up for failure. But if you set yourself up where you're not in a situation where you are going to get pickpocketed or you just pay attention to what's going on around you, you probably odds are you'll be fine. So
let's put some numbers to this.
Let's put some numbers. Travel score sheet. Let's go. Honestly, I'd probably put them right around the same level. It really doesn't seem either way, you're in a foreign land. I'm sure communication is going to be a little bit difficult regardless. I know a lot of places in Japan, there's a lot of places that if you don't speak Japanese, it's just off the menu for you straight up. I'm not sure how much of an impact that is with Greece. I don't know how English.
That I will get into that in the culture.
Okay.
But because of
just because it bakes into safety, that's why I'm asking.
Like John said, because of the recession, they're actually way more pleasant and way more friendly towards tourists than many other places in the world because they don't have the luxury of alienating tourists.
Right. So I think I'm just going to put them out on even footing, honestly, safety wise, natural disasters aside, just because you don't anticipate something like that happening, even a Godzilla. So I'll probably give them both just both an 8. I don't know. Really, there's really not one necessarily swaying much better or worse than the other. It is what you make it. Pay attention to your surroundings. It's kind of on you. Let's talk about the culture.
Okay. I'm losing track. I went first. So Ryan, you're going first.
All right. So we come back once again to Japan is a country of many different sides. And it's pretty evident in the actual culture of Japan. You have a very ancient culture with a fuck ton of history behind it. You have a culture that was formed and it focuses so much on order and cleanliness and being responsible for yourself, that it pretty much goes into everything that they do. And that's pretty obvious as when you're going there as a tourist. You're not going to find a subway train full of people on their phones or anything like that. It's going to be spick and span, even though it will break your imagination of wait, wasn't it just rush hour in here? But it's beautiful in here. Pretty much anywhere you go is going to be mostly clean. Even the love hotels I was talking about are going to be completely spick and span at all times. But you also have a really cool creative culture that has been developing in recent years. Well, in recent years, for a while now. But you have a really youth culture that has created things like video games and anime and stuff like that. And there's a huge culture behind that. And that has seeped into everyday Japanese things that is going to seep in around you. You're going to see Hello Kitty on street signs. You're going to see your favorite anime characters on just the menu at a random place. You're going to see everything. It has seeped so far into the culture.
I can't wait to see
there.
Hank Hill in a Japanese restaurant.
I'll tell you what, Mr.
Propane.
Buggo!
So, and the culture loves to, it pretty much, one of my favorite things is that Japan, in so many ways, when you start talking about like how it is compared to other countries, it's like other countries do a thing and then Japan's like, yeah, but you know what, we're just gonna do it to this level because we could just do it a little bit better, and if we do it that little bit better, it's better, and we're going to be more happy with it. It's going to be done so well, and then you go, holy shit, we didn't even think about this shit, and that is Japan to me. Yeah, I mean, as far as English speakers, yes, there are sections of Japan where people are less prone. Pretty much the farther away from cities you get, the less people that are going to prone to speak English with you. So it might be good to have like a translator app as far as like street signs and stuff go. It's the same thing radiating out from the cities. As far as like if it has English on it or if it has any sort of thing, but there's easy apps that you could use to really translate all those sort of stuff. There's a lot of English speakers as a second language there. Most people in the service industry are going to know how to speak English pretty much everywhere you go in Japan. It's more of like going into smaller shops or something like that that you're probably going to have trouble as far as speaking English with them. But as far as like whether they reject you speaking English, I'm not 100% sure, so I'm not going to really speak on that. But as far as I know, that I have seen people talk about, it pretty much depends on the person. Not everybody's going to be happy with a tourist, but as far as like, but that's probably going to be more of like when you get way off the beaten path and they're like, get the fuck out of my house. This isn't a place for you to stay. I see my time.
Cool.
Sorry, I just watched Judge slam a home run. I apologize.
Justin, you good to go?
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Hit it.
Okay, so Greek culture, like I've touched on a couple times, is very steeped in the history. I'm sure I don't have to really, teach you guys about what Greece is, but the Greece is a civilization that has given us a lot of things in the Western world. It's known as the cradle of Western culture. It has its birthplace in the civilization of Greece, which had the Greek gods and everything. The current Greek culture is very centered around their Christian faith. About 90% of Greeks are Orthodox Christians. There are many Greek Orthodox churches, both new and very, very, very old, both around Athens and Santorini. There's some really cool ones. There's a specific one that I forget what the name of it is. It starts with a P, but it's this like really, really old stone church in the middle of these like brand new buildings all around it. So like I said, it's that kind of like mix of like history. It's you really have to go there to see, and which Japan and Greece are very close to each other with this, is just like they've mixed history and modern culture together so well. It's just crazy to see. So there's many Orthodox Christian churches that you can go and visit, look at. They're very cool. You can even like attend services if that's your cup of tea. Like I said, they're widely considered to be the birthplace of Western culture. They give the world concepts such as trial by jury, biology, geometry, philosophy, physics. Walking around Athens, you just feel immersed into like Greece culture so much that you feel like you should have like a toga on. Like it's just crazy. That you toga, yeah. The people are very inviting and friendly. Like I said, they're recovering from a recession. They know how valuable tourism is. And they know how valuable tourists are. There's some people that will take advantage of that, like the pickpockets, but for the most part, they're very inviting to outside people. They want your business. They want you to feel at home there. They're very open about like talking. Like there was many times that we walked into a store and we just like talked to the shopkeeper instead of just buying things. They're very much open to teaching anybody that wants to learn anything, if you go to any of those monuments or any of like the historical places, you can get tours if you want to, or a lot of times there's just local people around that'll tell you, like they'll answer questions if you have questions. So it's really crazy. Overall, it's a very inviting place. They're very proud of their country. They're very proud of their history. Their history is all around them. They do what they can to upkeep their history and make sure that their history is known and everyone has a chance to learn about it. And it's a very, very focused, like very country and history focused place. So, that's my time.
I mean, it sounds like both of these places 100% like take their culture and like it's extremely important to them. Like, we have Grimace. He's like our cultural mascot.
Oh my
but
god.
but like between like Japan and Greece, like both are like very heavily rooted through very rich and culturally important backgrounds and histories, and tons of historical stuff. Japan's definitely had the benefit of having a really strong economy for a while, and they've been able to build up on that, and so that's been allowing them to take that leap into a much more modern perspective, especially in like their like city locations, as opposed to Greece, which definitely has a smaller vibe, smaller energy in that sense, where it's not like you're not staring up at skyscrapers the whole time. You're not overwhelmed by whatever clusterfuck Ryan showed that first alleyway where people are shopping.
Akihabara?
Yeah. That's a seizure warning. That image.
Yeah. That is also where like so many anime take place. If an anime is focused in Tokyo, that's where it takes place.
Like
also.
that image is the definition of sensory overload. Right?
I think the funny way to think of it is like that image of Tokyo that Ryan showed is to Tokyo what like Times Square is to New York City.
Right.
Right, but if you've never been to New York City before, you're gonna go to Times Square.
Exactly.
Right, of course. And if I were to go to Japan, I would go to Anime Street.
If you go on a train and you travel like half an hour, you're not there anymore.
Right.
You're in a rural, like, oh wow, this is beautiful, like outlands from
Mario Land.
It's not a city. Yeah, it's not like all city. Like
let's bring up that score sheet because I'm ready.
Ooh-wee.
So culture. For the culture, this is what we do. I'm going to give Japan a 1 point edge. We'll go 9 and 8. So like Greece 8, Japan 9. I'm going to give Japan the small edge just because it has a little bit more diversity overall. And I don't think that can be overlooked. So let's sell me on some food.
You like sushis and sashimis?
I'd say I could go for some sushis and sashimis.
Go for it.
Well, I guess I'm going first, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
Wait, hang on, let me start the clock. You're good. Sorry, my bad.
okay, no, it's fine. Greek food. Greek food is so this is where we're gonna be at least very vastly different because Greek food is very very different from Japanese food. Greek food, as far as I've been able to like think of a way to describe it, is very homey, is very like comforting. It's just that's just the way that I feel about Greek food. Like when I eat Greek food uses a lot of garlic and oregano and spices, and it's always very like warm, and I don't know. That's the best way that I've been able to describe their food. Some notable things is like they use a lot of feta cheese from Greece, tzatziki sauce, which is
Tzatziki.
tzatziki. Sorry,
For fuck's
tzatziki.
sake.
Yes, I apologize. Sorry, tzatziki. And also Greek pizza. I wanted to point out. I don't know if you're a fan of Zoe's, Bill, but Zoe's is Greek pizza. So
Way to pull at my heartstrings.
yeah, so Greek pizza right there from Zoe's. I wanted to try and describe a couple of these dishes that I found that are traditional Greek dishes, and I am going to not pronounce these very well, but the first one is called paidaki, paidaki, Paidakia, and what it is lamb on the bone, so
Paidakia.
lamb chop. Yes. Lamb seasoned with lemon, oregano, salt, and pepper. And it is a favorite in taverns all over Greece. They grill them on charcoal, and it's got like that oregano and the lemon flavor. Should pull up a picture, but yeah, so that's deliciousness. The next one is again, Val, you're probably gonna help me with this, but moussaka.
Moussaka, yeah.
Moussaka, right? I'm right on that.
Yep, moussaka.
Okay,
Musica.
cool.
It's good. It's like Greek lasagna.
Yeah.
You order off Wish.
No, it's better than regular lasagna. I'd rather have moussaka.
Yeah,
so many
sorry.
good-
I'm gonna just.
I love Greek.
This is the padaki. Padaki. Yeah. Sorry. Padaki.
Yeah, Greeks know how to cook their meat, man.
Yeah. Lamb is a huge thing in Greece. There's a lot of lamb dishes, but moussaka is it's comfort food. It's baked with layers of ground meat, potatoes, or eggplant, and a creamy bechamel sauce. And it looks like a Greek lasagna, and it's delicious. It's got like a lot of meat. I
Mhm.
think they use lamb in that sometimes too.
Yep.
And then of course we come to gyros. Gyros are probably the most well-known Greek food. I know it's my favorite. There's actually a place in West Haven, Connecticut called the Greek Spot that I will shout out right now because they make some of the best Greek food that I've ever had. And they're amazing. West Haven, Connecticut, they're right on the beach. You can grab a gyro and go sit on the beach and eat a gyro on the beach, and it's fucking great. Yeah, but anyway, so gyros, they're made with chicken or pork or lamb. And there's different spices and stuff that goes into it, but it's a pita that has the meat and then usually like lettuce and tomato and tzatziki sauce. Those are amazing. And then my last thing is dessert, because you got to end off with dessert, and the traditional Greek dessert is baklava. Baklava is layers of crispy phyllo dough with sweet nutty filling in between. They usually put like sometimes like honey and stuff on top to make it a little more sweet. And that's an amazing dish. So Greece has a lot of cultural food. And I feel it's one of the best cuisines. It's at least one of my favorite cuisines in the entire world. I mean, I've driven from Derby to West Haven right before they were about to close to get Greek food before, just because we wanted it. So, you know, it's one of my favorites. And it's also not that expensive of food either. Like it's a pretty, you know, reasonably priced, amazing food to have, and not too hard to cook either. I've tried to cook some of these before, and it's not bad. So I know I've made my own tzatziki before. It didn't come out nearly as good as some of the tzatziki's that I've had, but yeah, Greek cultural food is amazing in my opinion, especially Zoe's. There's actually a new pizza place that just opened up around the corner in Derby that does Greek pizza. That's not as good as Zoe's, but Greek pizza will always have a special place in my heart because of Zoe's.
No
So-
pizza place, no Greek style pizza place is ever going to beat Zoe's. So
This
just
is true.
understand that fact.
And I think that was the alarm going off for my
That
time,
was,
right, John?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's what I have for food.
I'm going to start the clock for Ryan. For whatever reason, my computer decided to shit the bed on me again. So I have no screen, but you guys can still see me, right?
Yes.
All right.
Correct.
YouTube, this is going to get weird in a moment. Ryan, time starts now.
All right, Bill, do I really need to tell you about Japanese food? I'm sure you've
Yes.
eaten
That's the point.
You got to
a
tell the
lot
people
of
at home,
Japanese food. Let me get into it. Let me get into my pitch, Justin. I'm sure you've eaten a lot of Japanese food. What do you like? Do you like sushi? Bill, do you like sushi? Do you like ramen? Do you like sake? There's all of those foods. Everything good comes from Japan as far as those foods. Sushi is so good. It has become a cultural wave here in America. That's how good sushi is. Ramen is so good. It is all over the world. People eat ramen. College students eat ramen. Everybody eats ramen. And why? Because it's fucking delicious. Once again, the main thing with Japanese food is they bring, once again, that focus on precision and doing things to the next level to their food at all times. So, whether you like sushi. Personally, I don't eat sushi. I don't like seafood. Personally, my favorite is ramen. If I'm gonna get Japanese food, it's probably gonna be ramen. Maybe some tonkatsu, which is the breaded pork or chicken, tempura, udon noodles, also traditionally Japanese. And we can go into their sweets. Japan has one of the coolest and widest ranging selection of candy in the world. You could get Kit Kats from Japan in pretty much any flavor that you want. You could go and get fucking Pocky. Pocky is one of the most delicious things in the world. Sticks covered in chocolate or pretty much matcha, anything. There's also green tea. Though the actual plant of tea comes from China, Japan also has their own culture of growing the tea plant. They mostly focus on matcha and green teas and stuff like that over there. You could even go visit tea plantations in Japan on your trip. As far as alcohol, you have sake. Like John was talking about earlier, and I wanted to say for this section, you can go visit things like a sake distillery that has been doing it since the times of Oba Nagana. God, I can't say his name. But since the 1500s, it has been making sake. Japan, as far as their food, is as wide-ranging, but as precisely and lovingly made as anything else. Japanese food is has a focus on not going all out as far as like cooking a lamb for hours or anything like that. Most Japanese food is food made specifically in that moment for the meal. It's very light and airy most of the time as far as their flavors, compared to a lot of like Western cuisines and stuff like that. Yeah. I'm trying to think of more to say about Japanese food. Without like, as far as like actually eating in Japan, you can pretty much eat anything you want in Japan. If you don't feel like eating Japanese food, say you are like me and you don't like eating seafood, but the only stuff around is like seafood joints and stuff like that. There's probably every single fast food place you want in Japan, especially close to like all the metro hubs and everything like that. Japan has their own forms of like fast foods and cheap foods. If you're on a budget, you can get small rice dishes. Usually ramen is very cheap also. One thing that you should know, a really fun word.
That's time, Ryan. Time's up.
Damn it. All right.
All right. I would like to apologize to Justin first and foremost, because I knew this is the one category he would have to sell the hardest, because as I'm listening to Ryan, I am realizing that, oh my God,
Right.
never mind. Zoe's Pizza, 10 out of 10.
Zoe's Pizza gets 15 out of 5 points. They win.
Yeah, no, it's all over actually. Oh my God.
Well, Bill, would you say it's safe to say that while you knew Justin was going to win in like the price category, it was more than likely obvious that Ryan and Japanese food was going to win you over here?
I had a feeling that the food would definitely lean Japan. And that's just because I eat a lot more Japanese food than Mediterranean food in general. It's actually really funny because I'm grabbing dinner with some friends after this, and basically I was like, hey, like, you want to try this like Mediterranean joint? And they're like, hey, let's go with this Japanese joint. All right. So ironically enough, Japan won in a real life scenario as this podcast played out. But that being said, I love Mediterranean food. So like this is not there. This is me. I'm gonna give Mediterranean food a hot 8. This is pretty good. And Japan, I'm just gonna give them a 10. Like I'm sorry, but like the amount of different shit you can get in Japan is just unreal. And I do love sushi, and so like seafood doesn't deter me. Half of Japan's food is like fried, which is insane. They have 6,987 different flavors of Kit Kat, which is probably lowballing it, honestly.
And KFC is better there.
And their KFC is edible there. Yes, correct. It's trash.
I mean, I
here.
said better, but yeah.
No, it's garbage here. Compared to like literally any other fried chicken establishment, KFC is bottom of the barrel. No offense.
Take that, Colonel Sanders. You
the fans
sack
of Colonel.
crap.
Yeah. So that's where I stand. Those are the hard numbers.
I'm gonna keep the scoreboard up for the last thing because we're not arguing on the last thing. The last thing is effectiveness, and that's how well you feel we did at swaying you. Like how good do you think our arguments? This would be like if you were a teacher in a class, what grade would you give us as far as our presentation?
I really wish I didn't have the totals in front of me because like.
There you go.
Well, now it's too late. I know the numbers.
Here, Bill, I'll do it for you. Justin, you get a 9. Ryan, you get an 8 because I said so.
Honestly, like that's probably where I was gonna land. Like, not even gonna lie.
That's fine.
I mean, Justin came from a much more like impassioned location, especially since he's you know, he's got that personal experience that he's speaking from, and he's like, you know, he's been in the cut, man. Where, I mean, listen, Ryan's job was easy. Ryan was
Yeah.
obviously selling the easier product to sell here.
That's
which-
why I was like, Bill. Okay, so Bill Japan. Okay, let me.
You know what? Knock him down to a 7 just for that comment right there.
Oh,
Cool.
No,
I'm good
keep
with
it that
that.
way, 'cause then it's a tie.
oh shit.
That's fine. Ryan could win. It's fine. The fact that I came as close as I did, that I'm only a point off, I'm good with that.
Honestly, I
I'm
would.
fine.
I
I'm
would.
good with that.
Both of these vacations sound great. So
Yeah.
you know, whenever we're going, well, we're all going to Greece or Japan, hit me up because I'm down for both.
Hey, Bill, real talk. I get occasional tickets to Universal, so you and I will go see Nintendo Land. Just you and me.
Good. All right. Worth it.
Okay.
You,
Bill-
me, and Shigeru Miyamoto. Let's go.
Bill, if you need to drop off, if you can. If not, it is.
Recommendation time.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is recommendation time.
Whoop.
Bill, if you want to go first, and then you can go have dinner if you want.
Beautiful. That would be incredible. First of all, thank you guys for having me on the podcast. I had a
Thanks
lot
for
of
being
fun.
Anytime.
here.
Bill. Thank you.
Let's see. What am I plugging today?
Don't
I'm
use
plugging
green.
the
would-
COVID-19 vaccine.
Yeah, dude.
Big ups on the COVID-19 vaccine. If you
Dude.
don't have it, what are you waiting
My
for?
first is
Probably your
tomorrow.
local government for being trash.
No,
But yeah,
thank your
definitely go
mom,
get it
because
if you
I'm half
can.
vaxxed now.
I'm fully vaxxed and ready to open mouth kiss people.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Listen, guys, the more we get vaccinated, the closer we can get back to having conventions, which is really the main goal
Hell
of something
yeah.
COVID. Like health, no, video game conventions. Let's get that back on the docket. So get your vaccine. And yeah, that's my plug. Thank you guys
Cool.
for having me. I'm gonna run.
Yeah.
I hope you all have a
Go,
wonderful
go have a
evening.
good Japanese dinner, Bill.
Have a good
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Hi, Bill.
They're
Take
actually
care,
getting
guys.
American cheeseburgers from McDonald's.
Who wants to go next?
I will. I've
Go
got a
ahead,
good
Val.
one. All right. So my recommendation this week is Michael Dare, who is on this podcast with us might be a couple months now, but he is like the king of really excellent movie suggestions. I feel like I've suggested this before, and I'm gonna suggest it again because I rewatched it. If you haven't seen the movie Society, it's an incredible 80s like campy body horror film. So it's directed by Brian Yuzna. If you haven't seen it, it's worth it. The acting is like so bad, it's good. The effects are like all practical effects because it's 1989. And it's super weird, and it takes a super weird turn, and you'll never see it coming. And it's so funny, and it's so campy, and it's so stupid, and it's delightful. It's like the best junk food ever. It's just about like this Beverly Hills teenager who's like super rich, and he starts to feel like he's like everyone around him is like, you know, he doesn't belong, and like he's like everyone around him is acting really weird, and then it takes this really fucking crazy turn. Yeah, it's an amazing movie. It's called Society, and I think it should be required to watching if you like this podcast.
Nice.
Where can they find it on, Val?
I don't know. It's called Society. Just find it on. I don't know.
Where did that
Search
voice
it.
come
Use
from?
the internet.
Yeah, use the fucking internet, man.
What is it called? The Society?
Nope, just Society.
Oh,
I'm
Just
gonna watch the
Society?
film Just Society. Got it.
And the tagline for the movie is "The rich have always fed off the poor. This time it's for real."
Well, obviously you can find it on Amazon Prime, and
yeah,
you can watch it with a premium Prime subscription.
do
But
that.
it's also on YouTube for $2, Google Play for $2. It's on iTunes for $4 because, of course, Apple. Fuck them.
It involves one of the
There goes
greatest
the Apple
horror
plug for us.
deaths. There's so many good lines from it. It's so amazing.
Okay, well,
That's mine.
Interesting. The picture that Prime has for it is kind of interesting.
Oh, if you Google images for it, you'll spoil yourself wicked hard because it's just so funny and so ridiculous. There's so many gross. Yeah, it's fucking gross. But it's like not accurate enough. It's like practical effects from 1989. So it's not like realistic enough to be like super grotesque. It's just like really campy
It's
grotesque.
Jeff Goldblum in The Fly grotesque.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like weird, campy, grotesque, but I love body horror movies, and that one is one of my favorites.
Hey, I'm gonna go next because my phone is about to die, and for whatever reason, I can't get my laptop to work. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna recommend a local Medford restaurant that I got all my delicious sushis from tonight, called Najia. Absolutely wonderful. Like, I think I got like 10 or 12 maki rolls, and it only cost me like $50. So like, mwah. Plus I got gyoza, and then they're like, "Oh, here's a seaweed salad for you." I'm like, "Sweet." And like right across the street is like a liquor store where I bought all my wine and also some sake that I just decided I needed for tonight. Team Japan all the way. I love you guys. Give us a shot.network. And if you are a fan of this podcast, at the time of recording on the Give Us a Shot Network Facebook page, there is a sweet 16 bracket going on. It's the top 16 candies in the United States. And it's like it's a bracket, just like we do for the NCAA best of the best. And they're going to talk about it on one of the upcoming shows. So if that's your thing, get to it. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, take a look on YouTube once in a while. I love you guys. I'll see you next week.
Bye. They're dropping like flies.
I mean, yeah, they are.
That's fine. It'll be nice now.
Steve, why don't you give us your recommendation?
Is it Borderlands?
It is not. It's actually going to be nice to your custodians. We go through a lot of fucking shit.
Oh no.
Oh no, Steve.
That sounds like it was from a place of pain.
It really is. Like, truly it is. We're trying to put back the schools, and if your principal is not helping you whatsoever, nor is management trying to give guidance to anything, yeah, it's always our fault. So,
do you need me to kill someone? I'll go to jail.
Blame the union men.
oh yeah,
go
it's
to
just
jail.
it's blame us.
Yeah.
For our building alone, we need an extra 480 desks for the building, and we only have about 200, if that.
Oh.
And yeah, so between desks not having enough,
Is that because
Hey,
is that
Steve.
because of COVID? That there's
yes,
like all of a sudden need more desks?
Hey, Steve.
yes and no. What?
At least you have a job.
Well,
I do.
he's allowed to have an issue with
Oh,
it.
I know. I did. Yeah, it's fine.
But what
I
I
know.
was doing was, my recommendation is be nice to your custodial staff. They
I
go
like
through
that.
shit.
I agree.
Okay.
Be nice to your servers. Be nice to everyone.
Yeah,
It's
service
it's just
people.
rough.
It
It's
is.
rough
It's
out.
here. I wish people were able to tip custodians. I feel like custodians should be able to be tipped.
No, we're not allowed to take money.
Yeah, but you should be.
He gets paid well enough.
No, we-
He gets
no,
paid
we do get
fucking
paid.
well.
No, we
All
do
right.
get paid well enough, but some of the bullshit that they put us through.
Yeah.
Tip your
mm,
mailman. All right.
Yeah,
You
I
get
think
paid shit at
mailmen,
the
dude.
beginning.
Hell yes, you should be able to tip your mailman. I gave my mailman a Dunkin' Donuts gift card when I
Good.
saw him on Christmas because
Good.
I don't know what else to. I don't know. Tip everybody.
All right. My recommendation is Koi CBD Naturals.
Ooh.
I fucking love this company. I haven't had CBD in a little while, and I was just feeling extra anxious and and I've been in pain with my ankle lately. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna get CBD again. I have used this company before. Really great flavor to it. as far as is a full spectrum brand. So it has a little bit of cannabinoids in it, but it's still pretty damn good. And the only thing that it has in it is the cannabinoids, natural peppermint extract, and coconut oil. That's all that's in the bottle. So it's a pretty clean company. The company is like 100% open with all their lab tests and everything like that. Like you could easily go look them up and everything. It's the brand that I swear by. If I want CBD, it's the brand for me. So yeah, that's my recommendation.
Okay.
Bring us home, Justin.
I'll take what I thought you were gonna do. I recommend Godzilla versus King Kong.
Oh yeah.
It was pretty fucking good.
Week.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking good. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I know there's some people that have issues with it, but they have issues with all the MonsterVerse. Any kaiju video, like we love Pacific Rim, and people have issues with that too. So people are gonna have issues with everything. But yeah, Godzilla versus King Kong. There's a lot of fighting. There's a lot of epic moments. It was a really good fucking movie. You can find it in theaters. I think it's in theaters now.
Yes, it
or
is.
you can find it on HBO. I watched it on HBO, so I figured it was appropriate since we were talking about Japan. Even though this time he destroyed Hong Kong. So yeah, went straight through the earth too. That's a spoiler, but you know, it's fucking
Hate you.
totally not something that could happen, but you know, whatever. It's the MonsterVerse, so there's a lot of suspension of belief things in these
They just
movies.
went at this point, fuck it, write it. I don't give a shit. Just write it. We're gonna do it. I don't care. We'll put it through CGI. Fuck it. I don't care. Write it. Let's do it.
I like that approach.
It's the whole movie.
Yeah, basically. I forgot what. Oh, that's right. The new Space Jam trailer. That's what I was saying. Has too much CGI.
Yeah.
That's a disgusting use of CGI, but that's a
Making
different-
another Space Jam.
Yes,
Yeah.
with
With-
LeBron
Wasn't it-
James.
were they supposed to do LeBron James?
It is
Yes,
LeBron.
it's LeBron James,
Yeah.
and it's the story that they've used 1,000 times where the son won't follow in the father's footsteps. Shit. So, yeah, it's
Lovely.
been done. So,
God damn it. And
yeah.
they took away Babs Bunny's giant honkers, which is fucked up.
Yes. Yeah, because they don't want another generation of kids whacking off to her. So,
Dude, they'll find
I
it.
mean, they'll watch the old one then, and they'll whack off. It's fine.
Dude, I know people personally who have jerked off to Nala from The Lion King. So
I mean,
where
she's
there's a
hot.
will- where there's
John,
a-
you mean
exactly. Dude, where there's a will, there's a way.
on
talking
that
about
note,
John,
thank
right?
you. Thank you for listening or watching us. If you want to listen to us again or catch up on any of our other episodes, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, and a handful of different podcast platforms. If you can't find us on your favorite podcast platform, please let us know so I can get us there. Our tag you can use to find us on everything, including Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and more, is 3EP Podcast. That's 3EP Podcast. Our website is 3eppodcast.com. Please come check it out. We live stream our episodes almost every Tuesday around 8 p.m. Eastern. We will be back to you next week with Hawaii versus, I don't know what Devin chose. But yes, we'll be back to you next week with another travel versus vacation to see who wins there. If they are listening to us on SoundCloud or any other platforms, what do they do, Steve?
Like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It'll let you know when we upload episodes, just like we are today. Come check us
there you
out on YouTube.
Please also remember to check out our network and give us a shout out network where you can find our other sister podcasts as well as our t-shirts and other merch. Please go buy a t-shirt. They're
Yeah.
cool. We have a couple up there. And I'm working at some point in getting us a store. So yeah, so that's it for tonight. Everyone say goodnight and we will be done.
Good night.
Good night.
Aline.